Welcome to the Horror Unmasked podcast,
where we unmask the monsters
and explore the lore.
I'm Amber.
And I'm Lily, and today we will be dissecting
Oddity.
Let's get weird.
Alone one night, Danny Odello Timms, the wife of psychiatrist Ted Timms, is brutally murdered while renovating the couple's newly acquired country house. Olin Boole, one of Ted's former patients, visits Danny that evening, warning her that a stranger has infiltrated the home. Olin is believed to be the murderer and is later found murdered in his own room in a halfway house by Declan Barrett.
1 year later, Danny's twin sister, Darcy Odello, a blind clairvoyant with
psychometric
with psychometric powers, is visited by Ted at her Cabinet of Curiosities shop in Cork, and the two make plans to visit again. Several days later, Darcy arrives unexpectedly at the country house, where Ted now resides with his new girlfriend, Yana, a pharmaceutical representative. Preceding Darcy's arrival is the shipment of a large crate containing a super creepy, weird, strange, life-sized wooden mannequin.
Mm-hmm. Or as I like to better call it, a golem.
Golem. Yes.
Yeah. It's terrifying looking, truly.
Yes.
Ted departs to his night shift at the hospital, leaving Darcy alone with Yana, who wishes to leave, but is prevented from doing so when her car keys vanish. Yana is frightened when she notices the mannequin inexplicably moving positions and drops her cell phone from an upstairs landing, destroying it. Upon examining the mannequin, Yana finds several strange objects inside the holes in its head, including photographs of Danny and Darcy, locks of hair, a tooth, and a vial of blood. After observing what appears to be Danny's apparition in the house, Yana panics and manages to flee after finding her car keys inside the crate the mannequin was transported in. Ugh. Spoiler warning. Skip ahead.
Final girl. That was final girl behavior.
Yes.
Ted returns to the house to find Darcy alone upstairs. Darcy reveals to Ted that she knows he was responsible for Danny's murder.
Mm-hmm.
She reveals that she killed Olin to avenge Danny, but upon performing a psychometric reading of Olin's glass eye, she discovered he was in fact innocent.
Mm-hmm.
Rather, it was Ted who arranged Danny's murder.
So fucked.
Enlisting the help of Ivan, a brutish orderly at the psychiatric hospital. Olin overheard discussions between Ted and Ivan regarding the plan to kill Danny.
Yeah.
And upon his planned release from the hospital, he arrived at the house that evening to warn Danny.
Just absolutely wild.
What a wholesome man.
He was just like, yo, they're planning to kill you. I heard them. I want to help.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, basically.
Mm-hmm. To prove his innocence, Ted tells Darcy he's going to meet with the investigator who presided over the case and have the investigator phone her to explain the evidence.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Ted returns to the hospital and calls his cell phone. While Darcy goes to retrieve it, she falls through a trap door that Ted removed, landing on the stone floor below. At Ted's command, Ivan visits the house to ensure Darcy's fate, only to be stalked and brutalized by the wooden mannequin, which Darcy appears to supernaturally animate before succumbing to her wounds. Which is so sad. Because it's like you wish she'd gotten that
Right.
revenge on him, because he's the one who actually did the killing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But this next part is worth it.
Yeah. Sometime later, Ivan, having survived the attack, is committed to the psychiatric hospital by Ted.
Mm-hmm.
To ensure that Ivan does not confess to Danny's murder, Ted sets free a violent cannibal in the hospital who kills Ivan.
Which is wild. That whole scene is literally just like, there is a psychopathic doctor in this hospital.
Yes.
And he's supposed to be, he should be a patient here.
Yeah, he should be a patient, not the doctor.
Yeah.
Ted returns to the country house, where he now lives alone. Yana broke off their relationship.
Smart.
Because,
obviously.
Duh. Disturbed by Ted's nonchalance that both Danny and Darcy died in his home.
Yeah.
And he wants to...
And he's like, I'm still going to live here.
Yeah, I live here. This is my house.
Mm-hmm.
Right. On the doorstep, Ted finds a small box delivered from Darcy's Oddities shop. Inside is a call bell that Darcy had earlier shown him when he first visited her in the shop.
Mm-hmm.
Which she indicated was haunted by the ghost of a bellhop who died in a local hotel and kills anyone who rings it. Ted defiantly rings the bell and momentarily observes his surroundings with no indication of the spirit. As Ted begins to relax, he is unaware of the bellhop spirit standing behind him.
The end. That's such a fitting ending for him.
Facts.
Because through the whole thing, he's kind of like, well, I look at things logically and with reality.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, not really, because you did sick someone to kill your wife instead of just leaving her. But whatever. Okay. And yet you poo-poo the sister who has a shop full of very haunted objects.
Yes.
It's like the Warrens 2.0. But I love the fact that the scene when you first see her interact with a box, you see it's a secluded space that has, I would assume, the most haunted objects that are inside of her shop are just in specialized cubby holes with like red lighting, and then like the box that the mannequin is in, proving it's also a very haunted object, because in the film she says that it was a wedding gift from a witch to their mother. So Darcy and Danny's mother was friends with a witch, and that was a wedding gift for the 5th year.
Yeah.
Like wedding
Wood is
gift.
5th year anniversary.
So that, a full-size grown screaming into the void golem essentially was their gift. And it is a golem. Make that clear. It's 100% a golem.
Yeah.
All of the stuff inside of its head kind of are, I know in D&D and in other such things, it's kind of like giving it a command word. You'd put it in like its mouth or something like that. This is a similar concept. It's a very similar idea, but I am sure you've got a lot more about golems and things like that to talk about. But this movie was released July 19th, 2024, so it was released last year. The director is Damien McCarthy. It's a R-rated film, horror thriller. I do have their box office. What was their budget?
Actually, it's unknown.
Okay,
It's
because
classified information.
weird.
Basically.
So their box office was only 1.9 million. So I'm assuming
It was very low budget.
it was a very, because they didn't have the most special effects heavy object in there is our wooden mannequin guy.
Yeah.
Everything else is very much like an on location kind of vibe,
Yeah.
lighting and singing and stuff.
There was only 2 locations,
yeah,
right?
3 if you really want to say like
Like her shop.
her shop, the hospital,
and
the house.
the house, yeah.
Are
Yeah.
the locations. Yeah, it's not I would not be surprised if their budget wasn't very much. I think it's an underrated film. I think it's very cool. It's a very interesting concept. We don't see a lot of films that use golems.
No.
And I think this is a fascinating concept to kind of go more into. I also like the idea I would like a movie that's more about like an oddity shop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like even if this what like Oddity, it's the concept of like I would love to see a film that's more dedicated on like either someone using their odd objects
mm-hmm.
or something to that effect. I think that'd be also a very cool film. Would be very interesting. But yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely a I said it earlier. It's an atmospheric film. It's very atmospheric.
How do you mean?
Like it's not like a jump scare for jump scare. It's like the location itself makes you uncomfortable. Like it's an atmosphere based film.
That house was so
very
creepy. Just
even when it was finished.
When it was done, it was still
creepy.
Ugh.
Yeah. All of the scary haunting scenes with Danny are very creepy.
Yeah.
Very creepy. They did that very well.
They did, I agree.
Especially for the limited space that they're in.
Mm-hmm.
All of the scares felt very intentional.
Mm-hmm.
Like even at the beginning when you see when they're looking at the camera, when she like picks up the camera because she's trying to prove whether or not someone
actually came in,
and she fucking sees him and it's like, oh shit. Also, I'm still mad that she left the hammer.
Yeah.
Her eventual object that was murdered her.
Dumb as hell.
Like, I'm sorry, you take your weapon with you.
Always.
Also, you don't put yourself into a enclosed space. I'm sorry, you don't do that.
No.
You don't do that.
No, because the second you get out.
Yeah, you can't open the door because then he's there. Literally. Why would you stay in an open space?
Like, talking about it is genuinely making my skin crawl. I can't.
Yeah. It's very creepy. Also, that end scene where Darcy is sitting there and you see the open pit in front of her as the phone's ringing and you're just like, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. And then she just gets up and runs straight and it's just
straight
boom.
in the hole.
I'm just like, oh man, fuck.
Yep.
It's oof. It's legit, man.
Yeah. Sorry, I can't. Like, genuine creep factors dialed all the way up. When we sat down to watch this movie, I was really tired, so I was like, I really hope I don't fall asleep. And then I was like, wow, I'm engaged in this whole thing.
Yeah. It's unassuming. It's an unassuming film. It makes you think that it might be boring or not really intense, but it's got an interesting storyline and it pulls you in moments. I agree. It really was done very well.
Mm-hmm. I'd watch it again.
Oh, yeah. It's a good one. It's a good spooky kind of like if you were doing like a session of mystery films, this was a good one to add into that. Mm-hmm. Definitely.
All of the Sony babies just lined up. You got more?
No, those were the ones that I got.
You got 4 of them?
Yeah.
I don't remember you getting 4 of them. Oh, that's right. Your mom.
Yeah. And you also.
And I.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's right.
Your crab cat's sitting over there waiting for you.
Yippee!
We have little phone hanger dudes. You know, the ones that you like stick on and they're little figures.
Yeah, we went on a trip and I went crazy and bought like 5 of them.
Yeah.
Because it was so thrilling to open one up and be like, wow.
Oh, yeah. And they're very cute. They're very cute.
So cute. They're little butts. Oh my gosh. Anyway, sorry.
All right.
What were we talking about?
I don't remember, but we can get into like more of the specs.
Yeah.
All of your specky bits and then the cast.
Oh, that's right. Okay. So again, budget unknown.
Which is so interesting.
It is a pretty short movie. It's only hour and 38. So
which isn't bad.
Which honestly is perfect for this film because like a lot happens, but not.
It's paced.
Yes.
It's paced realistically.
Yes.
Like it doesn't even feel like a pacing of a movie.
I like that description. Realistic. Yeah.
Like if I was in the space as a real person, everything is timed out. Mm-hmm. Like as if you could, it's almost like documentary style vibe. Mm-hmm. Is its timing, if I were to say it any other way.
I still hate that. There's someone in there with you.
Yeah.
come out. No, fuck that. Like, oh my God.
Honestly, I'd let him in.
You say that, but would you, like, genuinely in a real instance, would you let someone in if they sat there and were like...
Here's the thing. Here's why I know I would let him in.
Okay.
Because
honestly, either way, you're fucked.
Either way, you're fucked.
So
if someone's already inside and is inside, I'm fucked.
Yeah.
If he is not it and gets inside and I get screwed, I'm fucked.
You're fucked.
So I'm fucked
might
no
as
matter
well
what.
open the door.
Whether I'm opening the door or leaving the door shut, I'm fucked either way.
Mm-hmm.
So at that point, what's the matter? But the thing that got me and would have made me open the door to let him is because he was like, I just want to look around.
Yeah.
Just let me look around.
Yeah.
And he's like, and then after that, I'm going to leave. I'll just leave.
I'll go.
And the fact that she said, no, I'll just call the cops. And he's like,
Yes,
that.
please.
Call.
Yeah.
When you have someone who's so adamant, like, please call the police. Call them now. Call.
Yeah. Yes.
Call the police. Stay by the door.
Yeah.
He literally was like, if you don't want to let me in, that's fine. Just keep your back to the door. I will go get someone.
Yeah.
Just keep an eye out.
Yeah.
I would believe him and I'd let him in. I would let him check. I mean, hey, I have a hammer. As long as I have the fucking hammer in my hand, I also have a weapon of options. But that's the point. I'm like, I would still let him in.
Like, it makes me so anxious. Like, I'm nauseous thinking about
Dude, honestly,
I can't.
It feels like it could actually happen to you.
Yes.
Like, this is not a film. Like, when I say documentary vibe, it's that's the feeling of the film. It's not that it was done in a documentary, like, found footage style. No.
It felt real.
It felt real. It felt like a real event was happening.
Yeah. Like, oh my God.
Like, it has the right feeling for it.
So unsettling.
Very unsettling. You could tie it easy to real world. Like, yes, there's the supernatural stuff, but still, even then, there's still that vibe.
Yeah.
Regardless.
Yeah. I think that's why it got a 96% on Rotten Tomatoes.
96.
96.
Hell yeah. Regardless of its box office, this movie fucking busts.
Yeah, 96. I didn't quite say 96 correctly the last time, but
it's good.
It is good.
It is a very good film. Do you know what's funny? It's on the same rating level as fucking Sinners, and that's a new movie that just came out with all of the acclaim.
Yeah.
And way more in the box office.
Yeah.
And that's why we say box office and monetary gains doesn't necessarily quantify the film.
Agreed. Yeah.
So
honestly,
this
not even
movie
Rotten
and
Tomatoes,
Sinners both have a similar Rotten Tomato in the 90s.
Most of the time, we pretty much agree with the Rotten Tomatoes score.
It's only every once in a while where we're like, that should have been higher or that should have been lower.
Yeah, and it's never really that drastic of
exactly.
of a switch up.
There's only been a couple instances where we're like, no. Or, so, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like that's a very deserved score for this.
Crazy. 96. There was only like one plot hole I've found. I don't remember what it was. Let me think.
Did it have to do with like the hospital? Or like the girlfriend, or
I might be thinking of a different movie. No.
What is it? What are you thinking?
I don't know. It was something. I feel like it was something with Darcy and
the sister or the girlfriend?
the sister.
Because I think they were both spiritual, and they were both. Because Darcy was taking
Probably.
Danny. I remember their phone call that Danny was that Darcy would listen to, and she was taking pictures because she was trying to catch orbs in the house.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they're both spiritual. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
Even though she's married to someone who's scientific in mindset. But
that's why they didn't work.
Yeah.
I don't remember. I'd have to watch it again to
see if you know.
Yeah, see if I'm
thinking of the right thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I remember sitting there watching her, spoiler warning, watching her like bleed out on the ground and being like, this doesn't check out.
Like her falling through the floor?
I don't
because her interaction with Ted, they were talking. She was talking to him, and then he he like lifted and
No, I know he
moved
lifted it up. Oh, it was. Oh, fuck. It was the whole situation ending part. Like, I think something just confused me about, like,
Was it when Ivan
the
came
whole
in and
dynamic
checked?
with, like, Ivan and
Well,
Declan. Right, his name is Declan? No, Olin.
Olin. Well, Olin
Not
was a
Declan.
patient. Ivan was an
The
orderly.
orderly. Who is Declan?
I think he was just another dude. Declan was the...
Oh, he was, that was the guy who murdered Olin.
No. Declan is the one who found Olin's body.
Yes.
And, because he's the artist.
No, yeah, because Olin was murdered by Darcy.
Yes. Olin was murdered by Darcy.
Declan found his body.
Declan found his body.
Okay, I think I was
because
confused
Declan was
about
hiding
whole...
under the bed, hiding from the mannequin. Because he
right.
saw the mannequin. That's
right.
why all of his artists,
Yeah.
his drawings,
Right.
are of the mannequin.
Yeah.
Because you see Ted later on looking through his file, and all of his drawings are literally that mannequin.
That's what I think what I was confused about. I
Yeah.
was like, how?
Yeah. Yeah. He saw it when he opened the door, and then he shut it as it was searching around.
Yeah.
And AKA when Darcy was searching around.
Yeah.
So when he was hiding under the bed, it left, and then he went and found the body. Yes. Yeah.
Yep.
And also the fact that Ivan is already like a broken, psychologically messed up person, because when they were talking about the killing process, like Ted just wanted to be quick, and you could tell Ivan wanted to like make it drawn out, make it sexual, make it all this kind of stuff. And it's like, whereas like you could see both of them were broken in different ways.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But the kill count.
4.
Yes. Yes.
Because it's the sisters, Ivan, Olin.
Mm-hmm. And then eventually we can put Ted on this.
Yeah,
that
but we
list.
don't see him die. So that's
Although
why
I
said
wish
4.
it would cut to black and then a scream.
Right.
Would have been so nice.
Would have been perfect.
But we know he dies.
Oh, yeah. We know.
Oh yeah.
In our hearts. I just wish we could see it. Because they made us watch Danny and Darcy die. So.
For real.
And Ivan. Oh.
That's just gross because it's a cannibal and he fucking bit his toe off and that's all we got to see. Oh yeah. But
And Olin.
Olin's was intense, but Darcy
Oof.
went at it because she thought he was the murderer.
Yeah. Yeah. Darcy went pedal to the pavement.
Oh yeah.
But it's cool.
Yeah. They're a lovely cast.
Yeah. Where's
short
my
cast,
brain
too.
today?
You're good. It's a short cast. It's not a massive
I'm just
one.
like, yeah, we're just sitting here chilling. There's only 6 people. We have Carolyn Bracken as Danny and Darcy.
Yeah.
She played the twins. Then you have Caroline Menton as Yana. Taj Murphy as Olin. Gwynlyn? Did I type that in wrong? Is it Gwynlyn?
Willem. Lee. Yeah.
As Ted.
Mm-hmm.
Steve. Wait.
Yeah.
I didn't put his last name.
Wall.
Steve Wall as Ivan,
Yep.
and then Jonathan French as Declan, the
Yeah.
guy who was doing all the drawing.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So that is the lovely cast. At first, when I saw Darcy's character, I thought, holy shit, is this Gwendolyn Christie? Because she had that short blonde hair.
Yeah, they've got a similar visual.
Yeah. And like very similar like facial features.
I would agree.
But she's just tinier.
She's just tinier. She's
Yeah.
a tinier Gwendolyn Christie.
Yes.
She's her mini double.
Yeah. Yeah. If they ever needed her to get small for anything,
They've got someone
they've got
who can do
someone.
it.
Yep.
Oh. All right.
Alrighty.
Let's get into the good stuff.
Did you get a lot of information?
So I have a decent chunk.
Oh, that is a decent chunk.
I have a decent chunk.
Yeah, I don't have that much.
I have a decent chunk, but my bigger chunk is going to be in our next movie, and you'll hear about that at the end.
I think y'all are going to be excited for that.
Y'all are going
one.
to definitely be very excited about it. It's going to be, out of this world. Knee slapper.
You're done.
You're done.
Cut the cameras.
Goodbye.
Unplug the mics.
I am outie bagoutie. Bye-bye.
Okay.
All right. So, as you've mentioned, Carolyn Bracken plays 2 roles.
Yes.
So
Very well, by the way.
Yes.
They're absolutely, completely 2 different people.
2 very different vibes, 2 different energies.
Yes.
They definitely...
Looks, even though they're twins.
Even though they're twins.
Crazy, right?
So, nearly everybody is set up as one thing, but then there's something else. Every single character.
How do you mean?
Like, is one thing, but then is revealed to be other.
Ah.
So, Olin, everyone thinks he's the killer.
He's a killer.
He's innocent.
He's innocent, yeah.
And tried to help. Ted...
Everyone thinks... Oh, Ted thinks he's the kind husband.
In reality, he's the instigator.
Yeah.
And Ivan...
Ivan, just an orderly, turns out to be the murderer.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, also, then you got...
And Darcy even.
Yeah,
she's
I was
like
just about to say, Darcy. She's the sweet sister
helpless
who actually...
blind...
Yeah, helpless blind sister who turns out to be the...
like, seeker of truths and revenge seeker.
Yes. Who killed,
yeah. Who killed Olin.
Olin. I keep getting Olin and Ivan.
Yeah.
Because it's, 4-letter words. Or, yeah.
And so it's interesting that everyone kind of has this dual side.
It seems like the only people who are who they are were Yana and Danny.
Yes. You're talking about the other side of their character.
Yeah.
So when our Ted character, our Taj Olin shows up at the door trying to talk his way in.
Well, hold on, even Declan, we think he's the one who's gonna get killed, but he ends up being the one to find the body.
Exactly.
Like, there's always a twist.
Oh yeah, there's always a twist. Because with Olin's character, he shows up at the door trying to talk his way in.
Yeah.
He has to be very threatening.
Mm-hmm.
But you also have to put a bit of doubt on that.
Yeah.
He can't just be this crazy guy trying to talk his way into the house.
Right.
And then with Ted, he has to be a little bit of a little bit prickly as well. He can't be so supportive and nice.
Right.
So,
and I got that vibe from the very beginning when she called him.
Exactly.
And she said, I love you, and he didn't say it back or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, interesting.
Everybody has that other side to them.
Yeah.
And as they go along, we see which side is in control in some way in terms of earlier conversations with them. So there might be some character traits that you'd watch out for. So basically what it is that's what their job is, to let you know, like, okay, this is how they act, but this is who they are. So for the most part, they had to do very little, which was good. They would literally be like, you're coming across as too threatening. Take it back a little bit. All the actors did very well with receiving all their different directions.
Yeah.
So with the film itself, it's a mix of a lot of old ideas that they could never find a place for, that our director couldn't really, pick a place for them to go. Because he was talking about the fact that he could have made a short film about Olin trying to talk his way into the house and failing and the consequences of that. And it would have made a really cool 10-minute short film. But there's no way it alone would have made a 90-minute movie.
Right.
So a lot of the stuff in the film was like that. The desk bell, the wooden man. So the wooden man is essentially one of those. they liked the idea of a golem coming to life and being used as a tool of revenge for Darcy. And it was just finding a way to blend him into the story. So how do you work
Right.
a fucking golem into your story?
We were all wondering.
But when he became the centerpiece, it becomes about the design. So what does he look like and how does he move? How do they introduce him to the audience? The idea was obvious. He was going to be front and center for the audience. He's never hidden in the film. He's just there. He's just in the space. He's literally a still character, just kind of like you're waiting to see when he moves or if he does something. You always kind of get him in the first couple of scenes that he's there. You're not realizing it, but he's in the scene kind of out of focus because you're looking at something in the distance. Or you're looking at something closer and he's just in the distance. So he's always kind of there because it's a small space they're working in as well. Because, again, a lot of us is thinking, is he ever going to do anything? Is he just going to sit there for the whole movie? So they drew out some ideas of what they thought that he would look like. It was quite important that he always had that silent scream.
Yeah.
Just to leave it open for sound design, which we do get. There's that weird screeching, monstrous, ghostly, like sucking, wailing sound that comes from him. Because even if he does come to life, he's already screaming.
Right.
So basically, and again, in most horror movies, sound design is like 80% of what's scary in a horror film. You can change the context of any visual. We did that. I remember looking at that in a class one day. It was just a scene of a woman running like down the street, and it had, just like average kind of regular music, bop-a-da-bop, going by, and then the same scene, but now it's kind of got eerie, suspenseful, same scene, same lighting, and its tone immediately switched to something uncomfortable. So again, sound really sets the scene for horror films. So it left them wide open to do whatever they wanted afterwards with the sounds that were coming out of the creature, which definitely, because in that first time, you don't even see it, you just hear it. Like, don't get to see it when it's coming, when it's killed Olin and everything. You just hear the monster.
And you see the finished product.
And you don't really know what it is or what's going on. And then it's at the end of the movie when he's come to life and you hear it and see it and you're like, oh shit, that's what it was.
Yep.
It rewatching the film, you actually see a lot more of the context happening in the film. So they had approached a special effects company, but it didn't work out. And they were really caught for time on how to design it. And actually, the director's sister is a makeup artist and studied with Paul McDonald in Ireland.
Yes.
So they actually reached out to Paul because they hadn't met yet. And it had only been over Zoom. And they told him the story and said, how long would it take to do this? They told him what was happening. And he was like, I need 3 months to do what you're asking. And they were like, I might have maybe 3 or 4 weeks.
Oh, wow.
And he thought about it, thankfully not for long. And he was like, well, if you can be very decisive with what you want the wooden man to look like, then we can do it.
Right.
So it was pretty much just sitting down, a cup of tea in hand, over Zoom, just watching Paul sculpt this thing. It was kind of a one-take design.
Over Zoom?
Over the Zoom call, they would discuss, let's change the shape of his mouth. Let's put in more lines of timber throughout him. Then away they went. He was working 7 days a week to get this thing molded for the performer.
Damn.
So it was full on.
Oh, there was a person in there?
Mm-hmm. That's the full story of the idea of the... Yes.
Even when he's sitting?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Granted, I don't really know, but never know.
Makes sense for when he's walking. How do you do that? How do you... Oh, well, I guess
Literally, that's the full story of the idea of the wooden man, all the way up to finally getting him seated at the table. Is just, they did it all over Zoom.
Yeah.
They made this wooden creature over Zoom.
Yeah.
So, the breakout character,
Yeah.
our wooden man,
Yes.
is both rendered as a wearable suit and a seated mannequin.
Okay.
So,
But it is both.
what's actually really kind of cool is that you can actually spot him these days as a celebrity guest making the rounds at festivals.
Oh.
He stands at about 6'4",
Oh my God.
and in just a few months has become nothing short of a horror icon.
Oh, okay.
So practical creature shops are increasingly rare in the digital film landscape. We know that.
Yes.
And the magical world of McDonald had become something of a central processing unit for fledgling designers, fabricators, and stop-motion artists out of Ireland. So, McDonald says that he gets calls from ex-students asking him how to do harebrained things all the time. And he initially misunderstood the behemoth task that Miriam was pitching. The director's sister was pitching to him.
Yeah.
With just 3 weeks to create the wooden man from scratch, McCarthy remembers the designers telling him it would be impossible to finish the project in less than 3 months.
Right.
But after a long weekend, McDonald called back and agreed to make McCarthy's wooden man on one condition. If I'm going down in flames, the sister's coming with me.
Oh, shit.
To make both the dummy and the suit, McDonald assembled a team of 6 artists, all of them former students, many of whom took on the wooden man duties between other projects and set them to work sculpting and painting in tandem on the staggering multi-day creation. McCarthy was miles away from doing his own Oddity pre-production, but still very much on the hook for the wooden man design. So it was a really intense overall process for creating that wooden man in a small time frame. 3 months, 3 to 4 weeks.
That's crazy.
Intense. And 6 people, 6 artists working together to make it.
Wild. That's a crunch.
Hell yeah. It's making me think of
I can just imagine all the yelling they were doing at each other.
Honestly, it makes me think of Face Off.
Yeah, for sure.
I still wish that they would have just continued with that series because it was so fucking cool.
It was so good.
It was if no one knows what I'm talking about, it's not the movie. It's not Face Off the movie. It's Face Off the sci-fi
TV show.
television show that was a special effects makeup show.
It was so good.
It was so fucking cool.
It was basically like Project Runway.
They literally
elimination.
If I'm
shows.
correct, it quite literally in the first, I think it was the first season, first or second season, one of those two, where literally they made characters that then were, and I'm so mad, were paraded around Halloween Horror Nights. Like you could go and see them. So trust me when I say there's some cool ass shit. Like when certain video games and other things like that were coming out, they were so, the ideas and the ingenuity were so creative. I mean, shit, they even did like a Cirque du Soleil themed finale for a season. They've done several during the back end of the show before it stopped being on air, was making mini movies.
Yeah.
Like there's some fun shit that could have been continued with that, and I'm really sad that it ended at 13 seasons.
Ugh.
It
More.
deserved more, so much more. Fucking, I would rather have Face Off than America's Next Top Model, please and thank you.
Same. Me too.
Truly, truly. One makes you be creative in an exciting world, whereas the other gives you body image problems.
Yep.
And is a psychological issue of its own. But back to the last bits of my notes. So the filmmaker designer pair met over video chat for the entirety of their lightning fast collaboration, talking about the wooden man. So it's kind of, the way they said it is, it's vaguely like working with a police sketch artist.
Oh gosh, yeah.
During the sessions, McCarthy would dictate his dreams of the wooden man to MacDonald and then course correct in real time. Damien would describe things, and then MacDonald would freehand sculpt it as he was speaking. So he would go away, and then he'd send him photos and send him videos, and he'd give him notes. They'd flip and change stuff. Then he'd hop onto a call. They'd sit together for about an hour talking, and then they'd get to sculpting. The big thing is so because Darcy's character is blind and all of her abilities are in touch, it was better when they could really see the grooves and lines of the creature. That was easily the biggest change that they made to bring the wooden man to life. So what they did is they created a wetsuit-like mold of the towering actor, Ivan de Wergifossi. Oof, I'm so sorry.
That's fine.
You know, I did good enough. Who was the actor inside the suit?
Yes.
And use it as the core for both the mannequin and the suit. The performer, who's very the performer stands roughly a foot taller than the 5'4" designer who ordered twice as many supplies as he thought he would need just in case. And in the end, almost used all of them.
Oh my god.
The designers who ordered
yeah.
Oh, with as many as 4 sculptors working at a time, it still took 3 days to complete the head and 2 more to finish the body. It took 3 days to complete the head.
That's so long.
And 2 for the body.
How 2 for the body?
The suit and mannequin were mostly made from the same materials, with simple aluminum wire running throughout, so the wooden man's extremities and neck could be manipulated and bent. MacDonald camouflaged the suit's back zipper and gloves within the lines of the bark. He and McCarthy very painstakingly chose and further extended the themes of blindness when the headpiece demanded Mother of God, de Wergifossi's eyes also to be covered. So he was also blind.
Oh gosh.
In that suit. In terms of the practicality, because of the nature of the costume, it had to be molded down over his face, likening the result to a worse off Batman. The mouth area was painted out digitally in post, but per the filmmaker, the poor guy was blind the whole day.
The whole day?
The whole time. So the task of guiding an unseeing actor around set worried McCarthy at first, who pointed out the costume and molds are still only made of silicone and latex. And you're very nervous because they might rip.
Yeah.
But starting with their trip from Galway to Cork, the 2 pieces survived just fine. And as it turned out, needing to count the steps for Mother of God, de Wergifossi, I'm getting better at it, between takes made the wooden man no less intimidating on set. So he'd have to count the steps. He'd have to count his steps.
Count the steps.
To get from place to place. So it was great that they were able to finally get him in and seated him at the table. The reaction from your crew is usually your first audience in some ways. So some of these people, they've been on a lot of sets and they go from one movie to the next, and it can be easy to get jaded sometimes. But even to get a big reaction from them was really, really good and such a relief. So even their own crew were freaked out by this creature.
Wow. I would be too.
Oh, yeah.
I would be. Yes.
I would be exactly like that girl. Why the fuck you gonna put your hand? Also, I'm gonna say this right now. In one of the scenes, Yana fucking looks like she's about to put her hand in the mannequin's mouth. And I'm like, why would you do that?
Why would you put your fucking fingers in any of those holes?
Any of them. Like, that man has a full open mouth. Why would you even attempt to start putting your hand in that mouth? Don't do it. You don't know he can't chomp down.
Part.
Yeah. But
he just looked at you.
He just looked at you. He just looked at you. Dropped your phone because he looked at you. And you were like, no, I'm going to put my hand in his mouth.
That.
And then I'm going to pull all of the shit inside his skull out. Because that makes sense.
No. It don't make sense. I really... Just the more stuff she pulled out of its head, the more I was like, put that shit down.
The second she pulled the hair out, I would have been like, put it back. There's other stuff that's in there that's not supposed to be seen by you.
No.
But.
Not at all.
But that is the end of my notes. Which would bring us into all of your lovely notes.
So, okay. Let me gather my thoughts.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So... Oddity. This movie.
Yes. Clarifying.
Yes.
This movie, Oddity, which
Oddity,
that's
what we're talking about right now. In case you didn't know.
In case you weren't aware.
So McCarthy basically, it's cherry-picked from horror tropes.
Yeah.
Very, very largely inspired The Wooden Man by... Jewish folklore of the golem.
Yep,
because
golem.
If you didn't know, the golem comes from Jewish folklore.
It's a very cool creature.
Yes.
It's a terrifying creature, but it is a very cool concept.
Basically, large clay figure that can be brought to life through certain rituals.
And it's usually clay.
Usually clay or mud.
So it's cool that he's made out of wood.
To do the binding of its or to do the bidding of its creator. So our Mr. Director man, McCarthy, he is very drawn to horror where the dolls come to life.
Oh, yeah?
So...
I'm assuming he liked Child's Play?
Yes. That was literally what I was going to say.
Oh, yeah.
Twilight Zone, Child's Play, and Annabelle. But the most influential movie, he said, was The Wicker Man.
Oh.
Which is a 1973 folk horror classic. He said, because it's like, what would be your tool of revenge or your weapon? Be if you were a witch. What folklore are you using? So he was drawn to how the film refuses to spell out its logic to the audience, which is what he does in Oddity, because a lot of it is like the characters go from one thing to another. So
exactly.
It's not all gonna be.
It's all switch and bait.
Yeah, switch and bait. So he said
or
that
bait and switch.
Oof, she switched the
phrasing.
Yeah. So he said that there's stuff in there that's never really explained. Like, what are these rituals or how does this work? It's a little bit like with the hotels in the back of the Wooden Man, or the holes in not the hotels. Hello, reading. It's a little bit like with the holes in the back of the Wooden Man's head.
Yes. I was just about to say that because it's like it's got symbols and shit. And I'm like,
yeah.
How does it work?
Yeah. So while the items are plucked out of the golem's head, their meanings are still
mysterious.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you're also hoping, like, did she put them back in the right holes?
Right.
Like, is the holes, like, is there a specificity as to where they're supposed to be placed?
Well, clearly she did, because...
Yeah, because it worked still.
Yeah. But he also said it's just, it hints at something else that's going on. You know, there's some ritual or something that has been performed off camera in the last week. It's folklore, and it's witches. None of it needs to be explained, as long as you create the sense that somebody knows how this stuff works.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you definitely get that.
Yeah.
Especially when she's like, put that back.
Put it back.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, oh.
You're like, you know that she started to fuck up.
Scary. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And she's like, no. Do not fuck with my ritual. Do not fuck with any of that.
It's like, this is no go for her. She was not having that. But as for golems in general...
Yes.
The Golem of Prague, one of the most well-known legends in Jewish folklore. It's centered around, I'm going to butcher this, Rabbi Judah Low Ben Bezalel,
Okay.
also known as the this is gonna be really bad. Maharal of Prague.
Maharal.
Maharal of Prague.
Okay.
Which basically a respected 16th century Jewish scholar, mystic, and community leader.
Cool.
So, because he was their rabbi.
Yeah.
So according to the legend, Rabbi Low created a golem, the humanoid creature from clay or mud, to protect the Jewish community of Prague from persecution, from actually the blood libel accusations. So that was a false claim that Jews used Christian blood in religious rituals, especially during Easter, which often led to violence, as we can assume. But the golem was said to have been formed from mud and taken from the Vltava River.
Okay.
If that's how you say that.
Like from the banks of the river.
Yeah, from the river, and brought it to life using Kabbalistic rituals, possibly from the Sefer Yetzirah. This is like lots of
Hebrew
names.
and...
Yeah, which the Sefer Yetzirah is a mystical text.
Yeah.
But to animate his golem, Rabbi Low wrote the Hebrew word emet.
Yes.
Which meant truth, on the golem's forehead. Or he could have placed a piece of parchment with
the word on it.
Yeah, like in its mouth.
Yeah, it's either usually carved onto or written on something and put in the mouth.
Yes, but they don't know which. It could have been either one. This is just a legend. But once it was activated, the golem was strong. Mm-hmm. It didn't say anything.
Yep.
They're quiet and obedient. So it carried out physical tasks and guarded the Jewish quarter from threats.
Yep.
But the story usually ends with the golem becoming uncontrollable.
Yeah.
Too aggressive, too literal in following commands.
Yeah.
Or just unstable.
Yeah.
To stop it, Rabbi Low removed the name. Well, because it could have also been like a divine name written on something, and then put into the mouth. So he either had to remove the word or the name from the mouth, or erase the letter
off,
or the word, the first letter. At least, just changing the word, changing something,
make it stop. Yeah.
Well, for him, because emet was truth, he would have taken the e off, so it just said met, which means death in Hebrew. So the golem
would die.
Became dies. But the legend says that its body was stored in the attic of the old new synagogue in Prague, where it supposedly is there today.
Cool.
But there are many versions of
golems,
of golems, and this specific tale.
I know D&D's got them. Fantasy uses them a lot.
Yeah.
Shit, I think there's like an episode of Supernatural that has it, or some there's some shows that definitely have used it in the past.
Yeah, for sure. But actually, Rabbi Low, there's many reasons why they're like it's not official, because there are some scholars that are saying that Rabbi Low was actually known for his ethical thinking. So he actually would have been opposed to creating something like that. Because they don't have a soul. And they also obviously raise a lot of theological and moral, unknown ground territory. So it's but there's no evidence it was actually ever a thing.
Yeah.
It's legend. Just it's become more of a symbol of protection, the cautionary tale of consequences and the power of human and trying to control something, and
it gets way too theological.
Yeah.
You can kind of tell that religion had a little bit of a too firm of a grip on the concept of a golem.
Oh, yes. Yeah, because it was actually the Kabbalistic tradition, which expanded the concept of the golem.
Yeah.
So the book I was talking about, the Sefer Yetzirah, it's called the Book of Creation.
Yeah.
It's the mystical text that's believed to hold divine secrets of creation.
Yeah.
But yeah, because basically in this book it talks about how, like, shaping a human form from clay or earth and chanting,
Playing at God.
yeah, playing a god, chanting combinations of different Hebrew letters, and just, yeah, it's playing God.
Yeah.
Because it's also like putting that God, like a god's name, writing a god's name on a piece of paper and putting it in its mouth, bringing that to life. So it's very like, oh,
Yeah.
oh, yeah. Let's see. I'm trying to see if there was anything else.
Because there are, I know that there's, I don't know them specifically, but I know there are some belief systems where people were originally made from clay. I think there's some native tribes that believe that. But I know that that's like,
yeah, that's the
kind of part of it.
medieval Kabbalah.
I know there's some native tribes in America that believe that, but then I also know that that's like been something talked about in other religions and belief systems. That like that's how man was made.
Basically, it's all very biblical and like, oh, well, man was made from clay, so
Yeah.
we can also do the same.
Yeah.
And be gods ourselves. Is basically, so that's very much, I think, why people believe Rabbi Lowe was like, no,
Yeah.
he would not do that.
But you never know.
But you never know. You never know.
Just like this movie, you can never judge a person.
Yes. Which makes it very interesting because when I saw it, I did think it looked like clay. I didn't think it looked like wood.
Yeah.
So when I saw that it was the wooden man, I was a little lost. Even though I think in the movie they say like he's wood.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I always thought he looked like clay, personally.
Because of the brown and the visual look of it. It definitely feels, it has a handmade quality.
For sure.
That I can understand being, especially because of the way that the grooves and everything look in it. It looks like it could be made out of clay, but it's wood.
Yep. Whew. Don't make any golems. Don't do that.
Because I know that like D&D obviously has golems and things like that, and it's built into like automatons and whatnots, furthering the storyline. But I know that there's definitely like that's kind of part of it.
For sure.
I know there's battles that have been done with golems, and it's the same concept. It's either removing the command word.
Yeah.
So,
yep.
I totally.
Yeah, it definitely ties into that whole doll.
Living doll. Haunted dolls.
Not necessarily, what is it called? When they look too realistic.
Uncanny Valley.
Uncanny Valley. It's not that, but it definitely ties into like AI, I think, and how it's basically like a modern representation of a golem, because it's kind like of human created and can
I
also.
I would say AI is a little bit closer to our inevitable Terminator.
Yeah. For sure.
Because it's the same vibe. It's a smart system.
I just think something that could be, like, related to it. Like a today kind of monster.
Yeah.
Like,
it is.
Man-made, can take a life of its own.
Yes.
Can get out of control. Has kind of begun.
Yeah.
Already.
Has been used to emulate things that aren't real.
Yeah.
But are real enough looking. You can always tell an AI image apart from a real image. There's always something about it that's off.
Also, if you're a little quick thing, if you're interested in more about the lore of golems, there is a movie by Isaac Bashevis Singer called The Golem, but it retells the legend from Prague. So
that's very cool.
There you are. Yeah, that's all I have.
That's all you got?
That's all I got.
You got a 1 star for me?
I do.
Let's hear it.
Okay. Have you ever watched a horror movie with cheap jump scares and a brain dead plot? I don't know. Have you? Welcome to Oddity, where the movie tries extremely hard for you to sympathize with a blind, vengeful, and obnoxious witch.
That's just rude.
Right?
That's just rude.
That's what I'm saying. And you have a supporting cast who are dumb as a rock to let this witch into their home to enact her revenge. Throw all common sense out the window when you watch this annoying plot unfold. Who in their right mind would ever let an vengeful and mournful relative in your house who does nothing but shout at you and be disrespectful in every possible way? Let the obnoxious witch stay and let her carry out her black magic and wreck everything.
Can I tell you I know
or
what,
say
what
they let
religious
the
group this
witch.
person's
Oh,
from?
yeah. Save your time and ignore this like the plague.
Well, number one, saying that she was like rude and obnoxious, I'm like, and yelling, I'm like, one, she yelled at someone because they were fucking with an object that was hers. So yes, she has a right to yell at them for touching her shit.
Yeah.
Number two, she was there on the anniversary of her sister's death.
Yep.
Not a mystery, not a random happenstance. She was there on the anniversary of her sister's death.
Yeah.
The other characters, one's oblivious. The other one intentionally is trying to not give a shit because he knows what he did.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she's... Also, they don't know she's vengeful.
Right.
She's just there. Like, it's... They don't know
they
she's
just
vengeful.
think she's mourning.
Yeah. And that, you know, she's kind of like a broken person is what they kind of think about. But in reality, it's like she's there with a purpose because she knows some form. She knows the truth.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
She knows the reality of the situation because she had Olin's eye. Which means she knows that he overheard the conversation.
So I don't know if you got that or if you didn't. But basically when we say that it was psychometric powers, she can touch things and then see things from touching that object.
She can kind of visually see the history.
Yeah. She can know everything about that object just by touching it.
Yeah.
So.
And that's kind of the point of the whole movie is that's kind of what it was, that she was able to touch the eye and know the reality of the situation. So she knew what she was doing, but they don't know.
Yeah.
Like she knew, but she also wasn't going to let them in on that until it got to the point that was necessary.
Yeah. Yep. That's also kind of what confused me when we started watching this movie. It was like, I was like, wait, why did he have to come in and give her the eye if she's the one that went in and killed that guy? But she wasn't physically there.
No. Yeah.
So.
The golem was there and killed him.
Yeah.
And then he brought the eye to her.
Yeah.
Which further proves he doesn't believe in any of that kind of stuff. When he should. Right. Because even in the moments when Ivan was like... When he tried to... I'm so mad at that nurse. Fuck that nurse. Who ended up telling the doctor. Because he wanted a priest. Yeah. To be able to confess. And the nurse, he told the nurse not to tell the doctor. Yeah. And she told the doctor anyway. And I'm just like, come the fuck on. Like, you're the reason this guy's gonna die. Yeah. And that, you know, even though it would have been nice to see Ted and him in prison, I am, both of them died no matter what, so I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
And I'm glad, I'm almost glad that Ted ended up dying because of something supernatural.
Yeah.
Because it just proves that he's full of shit.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, but yeah, no, it's been a year since her sister died, and it's on the anniversary. No shit, she's going to think that she's going to be able to spend time with the only other person
who she thought loved her sister as much as her.
Exactly. But also, she knows the truth that he's the reason why she died. So she wants to confront him. But she's also, yes, she's vengeful. None of them know it.
Right.
None of them know it.
Correct.
Again, it's very easy to see or tell what religion the writer is because of their mentality towards mentioning witchy.
Yeah. Wait, how did the bell get to him?
She mailed it to him.
When?
So this is how I saw the form of events happening. So he comes to the shop with the eye to give to her. Mm-hmm. She tells him about the bell. Mm-hmm. He obviously is like, it doesn't believe it. She then that night goes home,
looks at the eye,
and does the eye.
Figures it out.
Sends it, and sends the box, but sends them separately.
Right.
To arrive at different times. Mm-hmm. So one arrived the day of. Okay, the other one arrived
how does she know the
next
first
day.
One wouldn't work?
It's more of a backup.
Yeah, fair enough.
Because if he killed her sister, who was a fully seeing person.
True.
Regardless of a golem, there's only,
Mm-hmm.
So.
Very true.
And he had an accomplice.
Yep. Yeah.
So, all of that possibility.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough.
But yeah.
Very smart. Very good movie.
And it's also the idea of well, you didn't believe it, so.
You're right.
I know you would do it.
Mm-hmm.
I know
just for shits and gigs.
You don't believe in this. You don't believe in this world, but so I know that you're going to ring this bell because you are going to test it. Mm-hmm. Because you don't have that control.
Because you're stupid.
So she knew that she'd still get him regardless.
Yeah.
Because that's also the thing. She wanted to kill Ivan. Because Ivan's the one who did it. That's true. So the golem was meant to kill Ivan. The bell is to finish everything.
Yeah.
So I think that was very smart of her in the end of that.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
But yeah. But yes, reviewer, you were wrong. There is a very strong story happening in this movie. Mm-hmm. There's a very specific story.
Yes.
There's multiple fascinating elements at play. Mm-hmm. Combination of haunted elements, haunted places.
And not hard to sympathize with Darcy at all.
It's very easy to sympathize.
Very easy. Her sister was murdered.
Yeah.
For no reason, really.
Yeah, for zero reason. And she found it out. And then there's the whole supernatural side.
And then she was murdered herself. So it's not hard to sympathize.
It's not hard. Yeah. She was trying to get revenge.
Brain dead plot. It was really genius, to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't know how.
What
bot wrote this?
For real.
Anyway.
But that is Oddity.
Oddity.
Hell yeah, man.
Very good.
Very good film. Very interesting concept. Again, I do like the fact that we've kind of been dancing back and forth between really shock, scare heavy, and then some that are more cerebral. Mm-hmm. So I think that's fun. Granted, I think the next two are very much more on the scary side.
Yes.
But that brings me into mentioning what our next film is, which is Alien.
Alien!
Hell yeah.
Face hugger xenomorphs.
So look forward to that. I have so many notes on that. It's not even funny.
Ooh, It's gonna be a long one. Buckle
Yeah, that one's gonna be a doozy.
Mm-hmm.
He gonna be a thickums. Because it's fucking Alien. It's the original first Alien.
So it's a big one.
There's a lot of information to cover in general.
Yes.
I mean, come on. You know him. You love him. A fucking another movie in its genre just came out recently.
Yeah.
So, kind of in that vein. Alrighty. So, remember, like, comment, subscribe. Send it to everybody and everything out there.
Yes, please. We need more recognition.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Get us out there. Spread the word. Spread the spooky word for me. Also, some minor updates before we get into anything else, before I finish this off. There are 2 confirmed houses for Halloween Horror Nights.
Yippee!
And that is Five Nights at Freddy's and Fallout. So you'll get to hear more as we keep going and as more and more stuff comes out. Obviously, because we work for Universal, those are the only houses in which we know that are out currently. So you're going to have to wait for everything else that may or may not be coming out. I know that right now they've got some Fallout merch, for the previews and everything, because they do that every once in a while with different houses.
For legal reasons.
For
Those
legal
are the
reasons.
only 2 we know of.
And for legal reasons.
Yeah.
But
no, I'm kidding. Anything that they've released is like, honestly, everything that goes around behind the scenes is all speculation.
It's all speculation.
We don't know until they release it.
Until it's like legit on everyone can know situation, it's very hard to tell.
It's very hard. Like,
we can speculate. We speculate just as much as those speculation sites do.
Yes. And like, we can hear things from other people. That does not mean it's true.
That does not mean anything.
Because there was like one year that people thought that there was absolutely going to be like a Freddy house or something. And
and that didn't
happen.
Yeah. So right now, all we have confirmed is Five Nights at Freddy's and Fallout.
Yes.
So again, we will update you guys, and in September it's going to be hardcore. We're doing our HHN stuff, so be ready for that. But yeah, don't forget, send us an email, horrorunmasked@gmail.com. Let us know any other places you may want us on. Also, any of your own spooky stories. We'd love to talk and chat. And then you can listen to us on all of the fun places. And I think with that,
there's only one thing left to ask. Will you fear?
Or will you fear not?